You want me to tell a story, a Christmas story? Yeah. Maybe I will, maybe I won't.
Well, I don't know if you remember me or not. I'm one of the kids they brought in from the home.
When we did our TV show on A&E, Brent Travers, he put it together for us with A&E, and you saw my children go back to the trailer house that I grew up in. That's where I belong, not living on a hill over here with a big old house. It's just stupid. It's stupid. But that trailer house, I understood. You know, my brothers and sisters, we never sat down at a big table like I do now with 2 turkeys, with pineapple and cherries and apples stuck in their mouth. No, that's a pig. That ain't a turkey. But we never did none of that stuff. We ate off a TV tray. And when I took my kids to our trailer house, my daughter goes, "Dad, my bedroom's bigger than this whole trailer. And you slept here with your 5 brothers and sisters?" Cindy, the most wonderful lady in the world. My brother Tom, love him so much, he passed. My brother Louie, he's in Florida, he's a hellraiser. You know, I still love him, he's the best. My brother Walker, you know, that's my family. And my kids are like, "How did you live like this?" It was the greatest days of my life. You know, slept on a patio with an awning all year long, just like we do at the races in the summer. And then when it rained in the winter, you moved in the house and you doubled up. I slept every night with my brother Louie's toe up my nose. How's that for a picture? Up my nose. And that was my roots. That was my family that I loved. You know, our family is part French. My dad's family they always joked about the movie Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. They always joked that there was a guy that was chasing them. And they said, "Who is he?" "His name's LaForce. He's a great cracker from France." That's my real name, LaForce. L-A-F-O-R-C-E. Shorten it in America. My dad grew up in Akron, Ohio. He was a trucker. And my mama was Indian from Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. And I was born 1949. Mom was a cook. Dad was a trucker. Had 3 brothers and sisters. One sister. And they loved me to death. I was a baby. And it's really amazing because when you look back at that, they really took care of me. And sometimes you take it for granted that how they were to you because you were the baby of the family. And I was born with polio. They didn't know it. I started to walk 6 months, 1 year, and then I quit walking. We're up in a log camp in Oregon somewhere. There weren't hospitals and doctors like they had. And my mother, "What's wrong with our son?" And nobody knew. They took me to one doctor's office. They said he's got spinal meningitis. And it was like, I can't imagine Autumn, my granddaughter, or Jacob or Noah having that. But kids have it. But to the question you asked about Christmas, what is family? What is your mom and dad? What's your grandkids? What's your children? What is really family? What makes Christmas great? Beautiful Christmas trees, we have them. Lots of presents, we got lots of that. You know, the malls, the hectic, the black, what do they call it? Black Friday, when everybody charges, runs over everybody. No, it's family. Being together. And that's why I'm going to tell you this story. I needed to tell you the rest or you wouldn't understand. We were in a logging camp just on Highway 99, I think, between Redding, raced in Sacramento every year I went through Redding. You go over the mountaintop and down into the city of Eureka and Arcata. But up on top of the mountaintop was a little place called Redwood Creek. It's a big logging camp. Walker's Brothers, Georgia Pacific logging camps. My dad was a logger. That's why the log truck. And I was little. You climb up a ladder to get to your dad driving this giant truck. He had arms like a fighter, like a weightlifter. And the winters come, they were harsh some years. Summers were beautiful. But we moved out on a reservation. My dad tells a story, and I don't know if it's all true, and my mom, but they only let us live there because my mom was part Indian. She wasn't full Indian. She was red-headed. Awesome woman. Big lips, telling stories. She could drive a truck. She could fight with the men. Most beautiful woman. I remember a winter, we had the worst winter I'd ever seen in Redwood Creek. There was a little church we went to, little yellow school bus. I have one upstairs. Chip Foose built me. That's why I wanted it, because it was like there, a little red schoolhouse. And I'll never forget that little trailer house we had outside, but Dad had rented this old house on the reservation. It was a real beater. You know, you read the stories about, you know, Christmas and the tree and the turkey and the ham, and yet there's the mouses in the cabinets where the cereals are and all this stuff. We really had it. Bats in the attic outside, a horse out in the parking lot, my dog Flicker that I lost. But the snows came. There was no money. I remember they gave my dad $80 for the winter. Feed your family. Used to be in the logging industry. Steak on Fridays, beans on Monday. That's what you ate. You know, to this day, my favorite food, I always joke, peanut butter and jelly is my favorite too, but my favorite food, and to this day, is bologna and mustard sandwich. Bologna and mustard. That's what Mom would make us. But you know, in hard times, sometimes there wasn't bologna. And to this day, I can sit down, put mustard on a piece of bread, and it's the best food in the world. Because that's how I grew up. But here we were that winter. I don't know the year. 1954, 1955. I was 4, 5, 6 years old. I don't remember. Only told this story a few times. But I wanted this little log truck. Little yellow log truck, yellow and green, with tires on it, like my daddy drove. That's what I wanted for Christmas. Saw it somewhere in a paper or something, magazine. But we were too far away, hundreds of miles from the cities. And I wanted that, and I told my mom, that's what I want for Christmas. And I can see Jacob and Noah and Autumn right now talking about what they want for Christmas. And we're lucky enough we can give them what they want. My mom, can't do it, John. John Harold, she called me. Can't do it. We'll be lucky if we can eat. We're not even going to have a turkey. We're not going to have a ham. Dad had $80 from the company. And we're going to get a Christmas tree because we can cut it down outside. You decorated them back in those days with candles. You didn't have lights to hang on them. So, big old fireplace though. It was a real where families were close. TVs were black and white. I watched Elvis on Ed Sullivan. So excited Dad come home and hung a piece of paper over at Christmas. It was blue on top for the skies. It was, and it was red on the bottom or red. Anyway, it had 3 colors, red, blue, and green or something. And that was the sky, that was the earth, and that was the setting. You put it over your TV, and that was colored TV. My kids said, Dad, you're full of shit. That never happened. Oh, yes, it did. But my mom come and said, Got to go with your dad. He's going to go fishing down. We're going to cook a fish for Christmas. We'd cut a tree down in the forest. It was beautiful. Big fireplace, huge. And I went with my dad. Big, strong man. I looked up to him. To this day, I try to be like him, and I can't. You set your goals, make all the money in the world, win championships, and you're still not what? That's not the way it is. So what I'm saying is, we went out, went to the river, stood on it. I'm this little kid. And he's got this big pole, and he gets him this big old salmon fish, whatever it was. I don't know, it probably wasn't salmon. We were in a creek, in Redwood Creek. That was going to be our Christmas dinner. Here walks up the warden. What the hell's this guy doing out in the middle of nowhere? What are you doing? Let's see your license. Had no fishing license. My dad was a very honest man. He said, this is our Christmas dinner. My kids are hungry. I don't have a license. Here's the fish. I'll never forget this guy. Best looking guy. Take that fish. I never saw this. He walked away. Never saw him again ever. I always think about real people. What real people are. People that make a difference in the world. I wished I could. But I try. Everything I do seems to be phony and something I conned up to make a buck. But then you see people that do the real deal. And went back home. I remember telling my mom, do I have a chance? And she's darning socks. I know you think that's a joke. Blankets, shirts. She made stuff. And she wouldn't believe. And we sat there and it snowed. My brother Louie went outside. I'm going to fix this. He built me a log pond where log trucks went and dumped their logs. He built mills for lifting up cranes and putting the trailers on. He built all this out of sticks and metal and everything he could find in the garage. And he built this for me. There was no log truck. I had this other truck from the year before that hauled dirt, and I had a little tractor. I came out in the morning, I'll never forget, the water he put in it froze over. It was a real log pond, like where my dad went. It was pretty awesome. Where my dad worked, but no log truck. Told my mom, gotta have that log truck, Mom. If anything, I was a little dick. I was just a little kid wanting what I wanted, didn't think about anybody else. Some days I wake up in the middle of the night, I'll have a dream about it. And I'll apologize. And it's just something I wish I could fix. Embarrassed. Even though I was 5 or 6, I wanted what I wanted. Had this little dog, Flicker, my best friend. But he would go out where Mom grew corn and stuff in the fields, and we had a horse that belonged to the neighbor. I always thought it was my horse, my sister Cindy, but it wasn't. And I'm telling this, if my sister Cindy sees it, she might say, this ain't how it happened. It's the way I remember it. But that dog Flicker used to chase him. And one day, I'll never forget this, and my dad, up to the day he died, he apologized that he said it. He said, we can't keep Flicker. The horse kicks up the corn and tears up the corn, and then we can't eat. So we can't afford to feed us. We can't feed Flicker. And we took Flicker to Arcata, and we gave him away to a pound, to a store. I cried all the way home. That hurt. And my dad said, just a dog. They'll probably give him some rich kid for his Christmas. And boy, I can't get a log truck. And they gave my dog to some. That was bad. So I said, I hated my dad. Really a shame. Went back home. Told my mom, don't want a log truck, don't want nothing. So, you know, in the middle of all this, Christmas morning come. You never seen a table with a big old fish on it with an apple in its mouth and pineapple. But my mom was the best cook. She was cooking, putting it in the oven, getting it ready for the afternoon, Christmas. We all went into the tree, and my mom gave my sister a blanket. She made my brother socks and shirts. And I was like, my dog's gone. Ain't gonna be no log truck. And there was one present under the tree. Mom said, open it. I opened it, and there was that log truck. That log truck cost like $18. My dad only got $80 to get us through 3 months of winter. I said, how'd we do it? Walker, Louis, Tom, Cindy, here's the money we got from the work they had done around town. We don't want any presents. Sorry. But that's when you know what Christmas means. Keep people, family, trying to take care of somebody like me that didn't get it. I didn't get it. Sorry, Walker. Sorry, Tom. Sorry, Louie. Sorry, sis. Just a kid. Didn't know any better. Love you. Thank you for the greatest Christmas ever, Mom and Dad. I'm sorry. I love all of you. I kept this truck. And my grandson, Jacob and Noah and Autumn, they love this truck. It says All American on the side of it. Log truck like my dad drove. Put the reach on the back, put a load of logs on it, and go to town. The little horn is a steering wheel. And you can buy all types of high technology. And you can put it in that room with my grandsons, and they'll pick up this truck and they'll play with it. And I don't know what that means, but I know that next to my children and my grandchildren and my wife, I've never said this before, so don't want to offend you, NHRA, but this is the greatest trophy I ever got in my whole life. And I hope to be buried with it Everybody out there from John Force Racing, myself, my family, my drivers, Robert Height, Ashley, Brittany, Courtney, want to say have a very Merry Christmas. God bless you all, and remember, in the end, it's all about family. And maybe sometimes it's just about a little log truck.
All I really want for Christmas is someone to tuck me in, a shoulder to cry on if I lose, shoulders to ride on if I win. There's so much I could ask for, but there's just one thing